The Bible Study Podcast, episode 456. Today, the Bible Study Podcast continues the study of Matthew with chapter 25. Welcome to the Bible Study Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Christensen. We're continuing on with Matthew 25. Matthew 25 is the last section of Jesus' public teaching. Next week, we'll do the Last Supper and we'll get into Good Friday. The parable of the 10 virgins, Matthew 25, verse 1. At that time, the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. The foolish ones took their lamps but did not take any oil with them. The wise ones, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. The bridegroom was a long time in coming, and they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight the cry rang out, "Here's the bridegroom, come out to meet him." Then all the virgins woke up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish ones said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, our lamps are going out." "No," they replied, "there may not be enough for both us and you. Instead, go to those who sell oil and buy some for yourselves." But while they were on their way to buy the oil, the bridegroom arrived. The virgins who were ready went in with him to the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later the others came. "Lord, Lord," they said, "open the door for us." But he replied, "Truly I tell you, I don't know you. Therefore keep watch, because you do not know the day or the hour." This parable really goes along with what happened in last chapter. In last chapter, we were talking about end days. We were talking about when Jesus would come again. When Jesus would come again, and that no one knew the hour of the day, and it would be like the people in the days of Noah, where people were about their business until the rain started and the door of the ark was closed and it was too late. And this is a very similar story, and it follows on immediately after. And I think the reason it follows on is probably more obvious to us than it would have been to the disciples, because he's talking about in the previous chapter when he's coming again, and in this one he's saying the bridegroom has been delayed. The bridegroom was a long time in coming, and it was easy for these 10 virgins to be unprepared. It was easy for them, as it was delayed and delayed, for them to not be ready for that amount of time. And so some came ready and some didn't. Some brought enough oil and some just assumed that he was coming back right away. And I think that we're the target audience of this, in the sense that the bridegroom has been delayed. Jesus' coming is not yet happened. Are we going to be ready when it happens? Are we going to be wise? Unlike the foolish virgins who are off at the store at the time the bridegroom comes. Continuing on, the parable of the bags of gold. Again, it will be like a man going on a journey, who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. And so also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. "Master," he said, "you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained you 5 more. His master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." The man with 2 bags of gold also came. "Master," he said, "you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more. His master replied, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness." Then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came. "Master," he said, "I knew that you were a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid, and I went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you." His master replied, "You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I had not sown and gathered where I have not scattered seed. Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers, so that when I returned, I would have received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth." Again, that weeping and gnashing of teeth, that terrible, terrible regret for having missed the party. And in this case, it's interesting that the one with 5 bags of gold, so somebody who has been given more. One of the things that's interesting in the story is not everybody is given an equal amount of. Now, this is very similar to the parable of the talents. Not everybody's been given the same amount of resources, same amount of talents, same amount of whatever. But to those who have been given more is expected from them. So I like the fact that the one who has 2 bags comes back and he's told the exact same thing as the one who made 5 bags. You entrusted me with 2, I gained you 2. Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things. I have the complete impression that the one who had been given 1 bag, if he came back with 2, would have been told exactly the same thing. Now come and share your master's happiness. But instead he hid it. Now the master could have hid it and buried it himself, if that's what the master wanted to do. That wasn't the idea. The idea was, here is the bags of gold. Go and do something with them. With all that we have been given, all the resources we've been given, all the money we've been given, all the position we've been given, all the power, all the knowledge, all of the skills, all the talents, God expects us to do something. We aren't just given things so that we can bury them in the ground, so that we can do nothing with them. I was just hearing something on another podcast about this particular section, and it was interesting. They were saying that the one who had 5 bags, as soon as he received it, it said he at once put the money to work. He jumped on the opportunity, where the other one at once dug a hole in the ground. What are we doing with what God has given us? And then one last story here. When the sheep and the goats, when the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, he will sit on his glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people from one another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" The king will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." Then he will say to those on his left, "Depart from me, you who are cursed, into eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me." They also will answer, "Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needing clothes or sick or in prison and did not help you?" He will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me." They will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous to eternal life. The interesting thing about this story is that neither those who did the right thing, serving others as if they were serving Jesus, or those who did the wrong thing, failing to serve others, not realizing that in doing so they were failing to serve God, neither of them realized that that's what they were doing. Both of them are surprised. One is surprised and pleased, one is surprised and not so pleased. But it's all one theme here. What are we doing with what God has given us? What are we doing for those around us? And the way that we treat those around us is part of our worship of God. And it's going to come as a surprise, good and bad, to a lot of people on the day of judgment. With that, we're going to end this episode of the Bible Study Podcast. If you have any questions, send an email to host@thebiblestudypodcast.com, or better yet, leave a comment on this episode at thebiblestudypodcast.com. You can follow me on Twitter, Pinterest, or Instagram as Chris2X. And as always, thanks so much for listening.
Finding uplifting news in today's headlines is often like searching for a needle in a haystack. At the Story Behind podcast, we believe in the power of finding heartwarming tales and are happy to share empowering stories with you every week. Get inspired by the note a waitress received from a patron dining alone, and even hear about how one VIP passenger made a hardworking pilot get emotional before his flight. To start listening to the Story Behind podcast, visit lifeaudio.com